Hey guys, welcome back to the channel for a brand new mod overview. Today we are going to be checking out the latest version of DINE Reloaded. If you're not familiar with DINE Reloaded by Carl's Guides, you are sleeping under a rock because this mod single-handedly, in my opinion, fixes everything that is wrong with DINE and it gives you some brand new features that you can play with that truly take this pack to the next level, whether you're visiting a restaurant or owning and operating one. Before we get into the mod notes, I just want to give Carl a huge shout out and a thank you for sending me the early access version of DINE Reloaded version 4. Do keep in mind this is just going to be kind of like an overview, my first impressions of the latest update. If you are looking for a more comprehensive guide and kind of like a step-by-step tutorial on how to access a lot of features within DINE Reloaded, I highly suggest that you check out Carl's video because nobody knows a mod better than its creator, so I'll make sure to link that down in the description. New features breakdown: 3-course meals, bartenders and entertainment patrons. Play as a bartender, more guests possible, hire more staff, better restaurant settings, take order smart interaction, meal-based value option. The latest version of DINE Reloaded is currently in early access. You can download it today on Carl's Patreon for a $5 pledge, or you can wait until its public release, which is on March 13th. At last, 3-course meals. DINE features 3 courses, but Sims will only ever order random things on their menu, and dessert only comes up if you as the owner give the table a free dessert. In DINE Reloaded version 4, Sims can order an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert course. You can choose which courses your guests will order in the options menu for the restaurant. This also works on NPC restaurants. Here for the fun, bar and entertainment venue patrons. Another major feature of this update are the new bar and entertainment venue patrons. These Sims want to have a good time on your lot and will rate your restaurant purely on drink quality, value, and whether or not they had a good time. They also still care about decor, but maybe not as much as regular diners. Hire a bartender and the Sims will order drinks that earn profit for your establishment. Of course, you can also play as a bartender if you like. As the bartender gains levels, new recipes will unlock for them, just as they do any other Sim, allowing your guests to purchase more expensive drinks. If you do not hire a bartender but have the entertainment/venue setting turned on for the slot, these Sims will still spawn but will be primarily focused on entertainment. This option will basically let you turn any kind of entertainment into a thriving business. Sims will come and use all the fun objects on the lot, and since these guys don't care about dining, you can basically do what you want. Make a cabana next to the beach or a bar with a bowling alley and turn off standard diners in the settings. You will also have the option of using entry fees with these types of guests. Set an entry fee in the restaurant options and they'll pay when visiting. Having a high entry fee requires Sims to have more fun to give you the max rating, so don't go too nuts with it. Bigger restaurants. DINE Reloaded version 4 has some new features that will help you to greatly expand how many Sims you can serve at once. Up to 25 guests can be in the restaurant at a time, and you're now able to hire an additional chef or up to 2 extra waiters without spending any perk points. It doesn't make sense that you can't do this, as you're free to make as many poor business choices as you like. Honestly, whether these will help a restaurant depends heavily on its star rating, advertising level, and table count. The extra waiters and chefs are very helpful if you choose to serve 3-course meals, as the place will be booming most of the day. Much better restaurant settings. One of the most heavily requested features since DINE Reloaded got a settings menu is the ability to set them up on a per restaurant basis. A burger joint, fast casual, and fine dining experience should all differ. Sims can now be seated by the host at the fine place, where they also eat politely or walk themselves to their seat in a faster locale. It's all down to the player preference preference and the feel of each restaurant. This works much better than having a single operations menu for all restaurants, which is what the mod has now. Meal-based value option. Want to serve burgers? The mod now has an option to add a small amount of money to every sale in order to make things like burgers, sandwiches, and appetizers more profitable. I choose not to apply any kind of penalty for doing this because right now Dine Out gameplay benefits heavily from players picking only the highest value recipes, and I want you to be able to succeed with a burger joint if you so choose. New interactions. Take order. Click your own sim and you will now see a take order interaction. This is a smart feature that scans all of the dining groups and finds a group ready to have their order taken. This will help a lot in crowded restaurants. It will help players who lose track of who has had their order taken and who has not. New setting, customer count multiplier. With the new customer count multiplier setting, you can now take a restaurant from 50% to 250% more customers. Use this on low-end machines to reduce max customers or push the limits and go for 2.5 times more customers. Offers 50%, 75%, 100%, which is the default, 150%, 200%, and 250% settings. Bug fixes and improvements. Guests are much more likely to sit when eating their meals. Guests are unable to sit somewhere else when eating their meals. Guests do not steal each other's food or drink. Guests who get stuck in conversation and not eating will leave the group chat after 30 minutes or so. Wait staff must wait at least 30 sim minutes before taking a newly created food or drink. Several rescue attempts exist to correct orders that go wrong in some way, i.e. wait staff fail to deliver them, guests not sitting in a state when delivering food, a variety of stability improvements around orders in general and guest flow. It's now possible to queue up multiple take order commands. The apologize for wait interaction will now immediately update a guest star rating if it is possible. While playing as a chef, all interactions are visible on your sim. Here we are at Spencer's Startup. This is a restaurant that I had made a very long time ago when Dine Out first released. It is available on my gallery at 102606. I have made a few improvements to it since then, but it's a great restaurant if you're looking to own your own restaurant and you don't really have like a lot of simoleons to invest in it. I think this is a great place to start, especially with this mod. You're going to be able to do so many things with it. If you've decided to skip through the mod notes and jump straight to the gameplay, I highly suggest that you go back and sit with me for the 5 or 6 minutes that it is where I go over the notes, because this video is going to be more of a overview highlighting some of the main features with Dine Out Reloaded version 4 and also my personal favorite features. Do keep in mind that this mod isn't just helpful in the event that you want to own or operate your own restaurant, but it also makes the dining in process more enjoyable with its bug fixes and improvements such as faster wait times, which is a huge one for me personally, even after EA supposedly had fixed it. One of my favorite things with this mod is that you were able to own and operate a restaurant completely on your own, meaning you don't necessarily need to have any waiters or any host staff in order to open and operate your restaurant. Now, one thing I will say is it does get pretty chaotic if you are the one seating your customers, taking their orders, preparing their meals. It can be done, but I would only suggest this if you are just starting your restaurant and you have like 2 to 3 tables. I have tested it. It is really hard to do with any more than 2 or 3 tables. It does get a little chaotic. Clicking on your host station will bring up a couple different options. Here you're able to access all of the Dine Out Reloaded settings. This is where you're able to customize different aspects of the mod. You can also disallow new customers here as well, just in case you do get overwhelmed, say you are the only one running the restaurant. This is a great way to kind of put a pause on that so you can catch up with orders and just take a breather. Going into Carl's Dine Out settings, initially it does seem pretty overwhelming, but it's actually very easy to navigate. With each setting, there's this little description telling you exactly what it does. In this video, I'm going to show you how to run a restaurant completely by yourself. I'm going to show you how to create a restaurant that is self-serve. This would be great for maybe a food truck or like a burger joint type of scenario. I'm also going to show you what it's looks like to have a bar/club. Because with version 4.0, you can now set your restaurant as an entertainment place or a bar or a club. So now your primary source of income will be on the drinks and the entry fee if you decide to charge one. Last thing I need to go over before we get started. So there are two different pieces of CC included with Dine Out Reloaded. These aren't proprietary to version 4. The first item is the Order Up digital restaurant display. So essentially it shows the current number of orders in the restaurant's queue. This is perfect for no matter what type of restaurant you own. It gives you an idea of how many orders are still in queue, how many orders need to be fulfilled. Then we have the diner's order beacon. This object designates the location Sims will walk to when using guest's place own order or the walk-up diners option. Typically, I like to put this right in front of the chef station. You might be able to put this right here in front of the host station, but I usually just do it right in front of the chef station. I believe by default, if you wanted to operate a restaurant completely by yourself, meaning you're the host, you're the waiter, and you're also the chef, it wasn't possible. There were certain requirements that you had to fulfill before you could even open. Now that is no longer the case. If I want to be just the chef, I can be the chef. If I just want to be the host, I can be the host. It just kind of depends. If I just want to sit here and be the manager and watch it all kind of come together, that's also a possibility too. But in this part of the video, I'm just going to show y'all what it looks like to completely run a restaurant by yourself. So Ricardo, he's going to set the station here and we are going to change it to alternative. Brand new to version 4.0, you can go into restaurant settings and allow diners to order appetizers and desserts. I had no idea, but by default, the game's mechanics don't actually allow diners besides yourself to order anything other than the main course. Before we start taking our customers, we're actually just going to click these so that they are turned on, and now our diners will be able to order anything off the menu. Since we're going to be the host, the waiter, and the chef, once we notice that our customers are starting to stroll in, we need to click on them, and underneath management, we are going to show our guests to the table. There is a way to disable this if you want this to be like a self-seating type of restaurant, but I will show you what that feature looks like in just a little bit. So we have a few other diners rolling in, so I'll make sure to also seat them at the exact same time. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Ricardo come over here and he is going to welcome our customers. He's also going to take their order, and we can tell them to take their seats. Once we take their order, there will be a number 1 on the little order display letting us know that there's 1 order in the queue. So we're going to come over, we're going to just take the other customer's order as well really quick. So that we can come back here and get started. So what you'll do is you will set this as the chef player station if you have more than one, or if you have a chef, you know, obviously working here, then you probably wouldn't need to do this. But if you have more than one chef station, you could set one of them just to be the player chef station so that your NPC chef doesn't work at it. But again, that doesn't apply to us because, well, we are the chef. So after we take this order, we're going to cook the orders as the chef, and I'm hoping everything will go without a hitch. So we'll also get this little event here that says we're playing as a chef. As you can see, we have 2 orders in the queue. I like to just peek out the window just to see if anybody else comes in and needs to be seated and just how my diners are doing. It's really cool because if you are taking a long time, or you notice that your staff is just taking a really long time to serve the customers, you can click on your customer, and underneath management you can apologize for the wait, because I think right here is the rating, right? So if you notice that the rating is dropping down, obviously they're getting upset about something, and you can apologize to bring it back up to a 3. I think that's amazing. But anyway, it looks like Ricardo is going pretty quickly, or as quickly as he possibly can. This is why I think it's really important to like have help. So I think we're cooking our next one. I'm not sure, but the food is ready. So we're going to go and serve our diner, and then we're going to come over, our diners, I'm sorry. And we're going to come back over here, and we are going to cook that other order, because as you can see, we fulfilled one of the orders. So we have 1 order left on the display. Hopefully, okay, the Fangs or Lily Fang and her, I guess, lunch date, Mr. Bell, are patient enough to wait. I'm hoping so. You can obviously do other things too. You can comp and you know, prioritize food and things like that if it's necessary, but they are getting pretty upset, and I'm just hoping that Ricardo is able to shell this out without our ratings dipping. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go and serve the food really quick. I don't have anybody else coming in, which is great. And yeah, they're definitely not happy about the wait. So I'm going to see if I can, you know, maybe give them like free drinks or comp their food. You know what? Let's just give them a free dessert. How about that? And what's interesting is that Lily Fang and Michael actually ordered appetizers. So she got the garden salad and he got a plate of French fries. I can't let you leave without a smile on your face. Treat yourself to any dessert and I'll pick up the bill. Initially, I thought the Michelsons were finished with their meals, but because they can now order multiple things off the menu, it appears that they want something else. So I'm going to have Ricardo come over here and take their order. But with version 4 of Dine Out Reloaded, you can now just simply click on your sim to take an order, and whatever order hasn't been fulfilled yet within your restaurant, they'll autonomously go and do so. I'm having Ricardo apologize for the wait because it appears that this table also would like to order something else off the menu. So let's go and do that now. We have a pile of dishes. I'm going to help Ricardo really quick and bring these over to the host station. Then we'll have him come back into the kitchen and cook the orders as a chef. Again, as you can see, there are 2 orders on the order display. Now it makes sense to me why Sims could only order one thing off the menu, because if they were to sit here and continuously order, that would take forever, and then your sim could never come and dine. I think that's why they disabled that feature, but either way, it doesn't matter. I just need to get these plates out as soon as possible before our customers start getting upset. From what I can tell, it definitely appears the customers are going in order in terms of what they're ordering, such as appetizers and then the main course and then the dessert. So they've been here for quite a while now. I don't know if I would want to have this feature enabled all the time, because obviously that means less customers are coming in, and with that there's a higher probability that your existing customers might become very impatient with your service. But it doesn't mean that this feature is completely useless. It just means now that you're able to dictate what your Sims or your diners will order. So if you want to make a restaurant that specifically features small eats, you can do that. If you want to make a restaurant that is mostly just of desserts, you can do that too. Or you can play around with a combination of each one of these settings. Another kind of restaurant that you can create with Dine Out Reloaded is a self-serve restaurant. So think of something along the lines like a food truck, or perhaps a like fast food joint where you come in, you place your order, you wait for your number to be called. You either take the meal with you to go or you sit down and enjoy it. You can do that. I am going to show you all what you're going to need to be able to kind of set that up. So the first thing that you're definitely going to want to have is your little order display. So it tells you how many orders are in the queue. You're also going to want to set up your little chef station, because this is where your customers are going to pick up their meals. Then you're also going to want to grab the diner order beacon. This is where they're going to place their orders. Since we don't have the ability to place an order at a cash register, this is kind of going to act like that. Now, you're also going to need to put your host station and your waiter station down in the basement, because it is a requirement for a restaurant. Your game will allow you to open up your restaurant without having them. We're going to head into the restaurant settings so I can show you exactly what settings you need in order to make a self-serve restaurant. Also, I wanted to highlight this optional setting, which is delivery orders. So even if you have a traditional sit-down restaurant, you can do this. But I love this option, because essentially what will happen is your customers, they can place orders online or over the phone, however your imagination works, and a delivery person will come and pick up their order. You'll even see, if you use the order display, you know, the one that shows like the numbers and stuff, you'll even see those orders come in, which is super duper cool. So for the sake of our self-serve restaurant, I have it enabled. You're also going to want to make sure that you have walk-up diners on. Then we're going to scroll down a little bit, and you're going to want to turn off host walks guests to seat. You're going to want to enable guest seat themselves, so make sure that's on. You're also going to want to make sure that the guest place own orders is also on, and that they pick up their own meals. You're going to want to turn off the waiters take orders, and then you're also going to want to turn off the waiters deliver food. Once you have all your settings sorted out, you're ready to open for business. I've actually been playing in this exact shop for quite a minute now, and I have earned so much money. It's freaking ridiculous. Like, it is crazy, and I think it's mostly because of the delivery orders. But let me show you how this little thing functions. It's so much fun to play with. There's one setting that I want to share with you, but I'm not entirely sure if you actually have to do this or not in a self-serve situation. But of course, I want to make sure all of our bases are covered. So you're going to want to click on your chef station, and you're going to want to set it as a delivery station so that your Sims know where to come to pick up their orders. I've already mentioned this earlier, but in case you're skipping through, to have your Sim cook orders as a chef, you simply click the chef station and have your Sims cook orders as a chef. It's very important because if you do have delivery orders coming through, you're going to want to make sure that your chef or your Sim is on top of them. There's just one thing that I've noticed, and I don't know if it has to do with my settings or it's just an issue with the mod, but I've noticed a collection of Sims just waiting out here to get this table, despite the fact that I have no waiting groups on. I also have it disabled to where they need a host to show them to the table. So in theory, they should just be walking up, placing the orders and leaving, but I'm not sure how to fix that or where to fix it. But again, it doesn't necessarily hinder my rating or affect my performance. Like, as you can see, I have 3 orders, which I'm assuming are probably delivery orders. It's just slightly annoying. So what I like to do is once I notice like the order display is at 0 and I have a couple Sims waiting for this one table, if it's empty, I'll go out there and like have them, you know, like basically direct them to the table. But I mean, I just kind of ignore it. Like, I really do. It's not that big of a deal. So here's our first little delivery order. It's in a Zoomer's delivery bag. I think that's so cute. You'll actually notice a Sim will come over here and pick it up. Do keep in mind, some of the Sims that are waiting over here are actually waiting for delivery orders. So, I mean, it could be a little mix of everything, but it's not really a big issue. So I'm pretty sure Marcus Flex is waiting for his meal. We have 4 orders in the queue. I'm not gonna lie, this place is popping. Also, another thing, the better your Sim is at cooking and mixology and things of that nature, the quicker they will be able to pump out the orders. So I would say it is pretty important to make sure that your Sims are equipped with the right skills to do something like this. But y'all, look at, like, we have 5-star ratings across the board. I am a little worried that Marcus hasn't actually got his meal yet. Okay, he just got it. Did you see that it was in the tray? And he comes up, he grabs it, he sits down. What did he order? I'm curious. I do have it, so it's just like main course meals right now. In this case, because it is self-serve, I might enable the ability of them to order desserts or order like appetizers if that's what they want. But again, it just kind of depends on what type of like food truck or food stall that you have. If having them order from the appetizer menu or the dessert menu would make sense. Like, in theory, you could actually have a ice cream shop if you wanted to, like an ice cream food truck. I think this is a little bit bigger than it needed to be. But yeah, it's a really, really, really awesome little feature. And I just love being able to do this because, as you can see, we are having so many customers come and patron our shop here. So Marcus Flex just left. I think what I'm going to do is come over and show my guests to the table. I'll show you exactly how this works. You do want to make sure that your Sim isn't operating as a chef. Now, while you're doing this, you might see some orders come in, which is great. I love this thing. So now we'll have these 2. They'll come, they'll sit, they'll be able to order without your help. Like, you don't need to go and take their order. It's just seating them for some reason. That seems to be the issue. I have no idea why these Sims are still here, like why they haven't left, but as long as they're happy, I guess it's fine. I have no idea why they're all just like standing there, but that kind of gives you a little idea of how a self-serve restaurant operates. So I think now's a good time just to close up Spencer's. I'm going to show you guys how much we made. We made 2,000 simoleons. Our cost of ingredients was only 46 simoleons because we weren't paying wages or doing any types of advertising. thing, a lot of this was just pure net profit. And despite having a bunch of lingering patrons, our rating actually went up. We are a 4-star restaurant. With the Dine Out Reloaded version 4, you can now take any entertainment business and turn it into a thriving, functioning business. It's a little complicated, I'm not gonna lie. It took me a couple seconds to figure out, but I'm gonna show y'all what motions you need to go through in order to turn even just a simple club into a establishment that you can actually earn money from. Remember, you're going to be earning your money mostly from the drinks. I do think if you wanted to, you could probably have like a little off to the side kitchen, but we're not going to do all that in this video. We're just going to stick to the basics. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hop into build mode. This needs to still stay as a restaurant lot type in order for this functionality to work. Also, if you do have any required equipment that you're not going to be using in your establishment, minus the host station, because it is very important, and we'll get into why in just a moment, but anything else like the waiter station or the chef station can actually just go down in the basement. It's a quick little hack. I've shown you guys how to do this a few times. You can do this with anything actually that's required if it makes sense on your lot, other than, again, the host station. So once you have all of your requirements filled, grab your host station and place it in the front of your establishment. This is where you're going to be collecting those entry fees. Next, we're going to hop into our restaurant configuration. I like to create my own custom menus since, again, this is going to be primarily a place where you're going to be serving drinks. You can put in whatever you want, but also you do need to keep in mind that if you hire a bartender, they're probably not going to be able to make all of the drinks on the menu successfully, as they will need to level up in order to make them perfectly. However, if you're going to be the one managing the bar, just pick drinks that are within your skill set. I like just to stick to things that have a very minimal difficulty. So we got like water, we've got the mimosa, I think that's so cute, juice on the rocks, EAPA, just the basics. We're going to go ahead and click confirm, and then you should be almost ready to go. There is just a couple other things that we need to play around with. Click on your host station, go into Carl's Dine Out settings, and from there you're going to want to turn off standard dining groups. I actually think this might be the missing component that I need to turn off when running a self-serve restaurant. I haven't tried it out yet, but I think this actually might be the fix. Underneath that, you're going to want to make sure that restaurant is entertainment / bar is also toggled on, and underneath that is where you can set your entry fee. So you can select an entry fee of the denomination of 25 simoleons, 50 simoleons, 100, or 200 simoleons. Since your primary income is going to be from your entry fee and your drinks, I highly suggest that you do set an entry fee. Now, the entry fee, again, is just kind of up to you. It does also depend on how much entertainment your establishment has, since you will be rated on the entertainment value and also like the quality of your drinks. So if you want to go with a $200 entry fee, you better make sure that your customers are getting their money's worth. Once you have those 3 settings enabled, you should be ready to go. I think you do need to hire a couple of employees. So my current employees are a host, and then I also have a bartender. You are able, as I've mentioned earlier, to be your own bartender, but I mean, I feel like it's just easier to have, you know, a sim do it. Maybe if my employee gets tired, I could step in for her for a few hours so she can go home, get some rest, that sort of a thing. I'm still kind of playing around with the dynamic, so I by no means am a professional as to how this works. I'm just kind of giving y'all like my first person experience. So we're going to go and open up Club Crimson. Right off the bat, we have $150 in meal profits, which really translates to entry fees because of all of these sims that are here. Each one of them, as they pass the host station, has paid a $25 entry fee. You can kind of see it happening right now. What in the hell is this girl wearing? Oh my god, y'all. I actually think this might be one of my blushes or something. I don't think so. There is no way. gosh, that is awful. That can't be mine. Where did that come from? Anyway, we have a couple patrons going up to the bar. Again, you are going to be rated based on your drinks. My sim is trying so hard to keep up with the menu. So that gives y'all a small idea as to how operating a club would work using Dine Out Reloaded. But keep in mind, you could get really creative with this. You could use this for maybe like a little beach bar or something like that. If you wanted, you could do a bowling alley. It just gives you more options in terms of what types of establishments you can quote unquote own. So I think that's actually pretty cool. Anyway, we have earned a total profit of $409. I'm actually in the closed Club Crimson, and we can see a breakdown of how much we've actually earned. So employee wages, only $6, barely anything. Our net profit was $403. I would certainly say out of everything we've done, self-serve restaurant with the delivery on has been the most profitable so far. The best part about Dine Out Reloaded is that it's not necessarily just for if you want to own and run your own restaurant. It's actually great to have if you just want to simply patron a restaurant and enjoy your freaking meal without having to be there all day. Dine Out has a series of bug fixes and just general improvements for Dine Out, and I love it. So let me show you how peaceful it is just to come in and have a meal at a restaurant. So I'm gonna have my sim come over and be placed at a table. There is a lot of people here, so I am prepared to wait just a quick little sec. We are going to be seated in just a moment, so I have no clue where we're going to be sitting. Probably outside, I would assume. No, right here. Perfect. Okay, that's totally fine. So we're gonna sit down. We're gonna find the waiter. It looks like the waiter is actually over here. So I can go and place an order. I can ask to deliver a compliment to the chef. I can ask to deliver an insult. I can give up the table, or I can order for the table. I'm hoping that was my waiter, but either way, it doesn't matter. So it instantly pops up. I'm going to grab maybe like a root beer float. That sounds good. It's really, really hot today. I'll grab that, and then maybe I'll snag. Let's see what else is on the menu. It is 4:20 p.m. So what would go good with a root beer float? A hamburger? Let's do a hamburger. I didn't mention this. I mentioned it in the mod notes, but another cool feature with Dine Out Reloaded 4.0 is that if you yourself own a restaurant, some of those low value items like hamburgers and appetizers and things like that, you can actually add I wouldn't say a fee to them, but you can actually inflate their prices so that if you yourself have a hamburger joint or a lot of those low value items on the menu, you'll make more profit. So I think that's actually pretty freaking cool. So our waiter comes over and instantly puts in our order. Let's see what happens. We're not being bothered. Nobody's trying to have a conversation with us. My sim isn't getting up and down and bouncing all around. I was kind of thinking maybe I would have them play on their phone or something. It's been an hour so far. The kitchen is a little packed. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a little packed. There's a lot of people who are trying to place orders, and I'm hoping this is our meal here. I feel like this particular chef doesn't know what the hell they're doing. So as long as my meal is on its way, I don't necessarily mind waiting too long. So yeah, it only took an hour and maybe a half. Hey, I have been here before and it has taken like 3+ hours to get my meal, so I'm not complaining. If the establishment was a little easier to navigate and not so crowded, I'm sure I would have gotten it in less than an hour because I've seen that happen before. But either way, it was a pleasant experience. I came in, sat down, ordered my meal, and literally not a single soul bothered me, which is perfect. Also, another thing that's really cool with this mod, if you yourself have a burger business, or maybe you're just selling appetizers or desserts, those low budget items that don't tend to make a lot of profit. Well, when you click on the host station, there's a setting underneath restaurant settings where you can add a value to the recipes. Essentially what this means is it will inflate the cost of that item on the menu. So let's say a burger, for instance, is $7. Well, there's not really a ton of profit in it for you if a burger is $7. So what you can do is you could come over here and you can click this to add maybe $25 to the base price of the meal. So now that $7 burger is now what, $32 and some change. You can actually do this up to $1,000, which is crazy. I would like to see lower denominations because I feel like $32 for a freaking burger is expensive. So maybe like inflated prices of like 5, 10. I don't know if that would be too much, or maybe at least just bare minimum 10 would be a great starting point. Because again, I just feel like $25 is a tidge bit excessive. Another thing you should note by doing this, it won't just increase that one item by 25 simoleons, it will increase the entire menu by 25 simoleons. My sim finished his food a while ago, but apparently he's still hungry, so he just ordered something else. Anyway, that is my overview on Dine Out Reloaded. I've been wanting to make a proper video on this forever because Dine Out Reloaded is just one of my go-to must-have mods for a pleasant dine out experience. So again, thank you to Carl for sending me the early access version of this mod. If you're interested in picking up this mod for yourself, it is available on Carl's Patreon for a $5 pledge. It will be released to the public on March 13th. Again, no matter where you stand, whether you want to own a restaurant or you simply just want to dine in peace, this mod is for you. Anyways, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video here. I hope y'all enjoyed. And if you did, you know what to do, boo. Don't forget to go ahead and comment, rate, and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think in the comments down below where the sun does not shine. And I will see you all next time. Do y'all see how quick that was? We just ordered and the meal has already arrived. A BLT and a Sunset Valley. Sir. Anyways, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.